Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. I'm John and this is Hannah.
Hi.
And all this month we're going to be looking at the various prompts for RPGaDay 2025. So let's get into it. So the prompt for Day 6 RPGaDay 2025 is motive. So Hannah, what are you thinking when I say motive?
Oh, well, I mean, we've been watching episodic procedural cop shows together for many years.
Indeed.
And immediately the thought in my brain is, who done it? Who done it?
That's fair.
And why?
Yep.
And obviously, if you're doing a game of that sort of thing, that's something you've really got to think about. If you're doing a murder mystery, for example, you've got to think about why they done the murder.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think even beyond that, whenever you have a villain of any kind in an RPG campaign, the temptation is to sort of say, well, why are they doing whatever they're doing? Why is the Lich trying to kill the population of this kingdom? And the temptation is to go, well, they're evil. They're undead. That's why they're trying to do it. But it's not very satisfying. Whereas I forget, there's some quote somewhere, I forget who said it, where basically someone only gets classified as a villain because their goals and their motives conflict with what the rest of society thinks is acceptable. And I think not to make a villain entirely sympathetic, but if you can work out the motive of why this Lich is trying to wipe out all the people in the kingdom, you can then potentially have more of an insight on how you stop them. Because it might be a case of the Lich is too powerful, so we can't just pole up with swords drawn and deal with him. Whereas if you can work out why he's trying to do it, you might find another way to work around that problem.
So another way to look at motives is players' motives.
Yeah, of course.
Why are you on the quest for the magic MacGuffin? Why are you trying to unite the kingdoms? Why are you trying to take down this particular wizard? And if it's because he's evil and no one else will, fair enough.
Yeah.
But if it's because we used to go to school together and he was a bully and I want to take him down because I've known him my whole life and I hate him, that's probably going to be a bit more of a motivating factor for your character.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right when you're talking about PC motives. I mean, again, to go back to a recent thing we did in my other Wolfrup game, the one I'm running for some of the guys we LARP with, one of our friends, Jacob, he had a character where he rolled up that he got a large number of siblings. He was they've all got the same mother, they're all by different fathers. And then just randomly, as part of his character generation, he took the Bretonnian language, which the game's not set in Bretonnia, it's set in the Empire. Eventually, many sessions onwards, he got the idea that he wanted to become a Grail Knight, which is something that, strictly according to the rules, only Bretonnians can do. Now, bear in mind, we know nothing about his father, other than the fact he apparently learned Bretonnian from him. So I was then able to suggest via another NPC that, I used to knock around with this Bretonnian knight, and his name was da-da-da. At which point, Jacob's like, I thought that's my dad. And we're suddenly okay, he's an ex-Bretonnian knight who, for some reason, forsook his knighthood, settled down and started raising a family. And you then start asking questions what are his motives for doing that? And it also then indirectly feeds into the player character's motives for wanting to become a Bretonnian knight. Obviously, none of this was planned in advance, but as soon as I sort of revealed that and sort of built upon that, we then had the player going, well, that explains why my dad taught me Bretonnian when I was younger. And some of the players afterwards have said, did you have all this planned from the start? And I'm like, no, of course I didn't. But it's something where you can sort of build on the motives of people to reflect on the motives of other people.
And you can build in both directions.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to have a perfect player background with all your motives set in and then encounter things in order.
Exactly.
You can have the adventure takes place and then you can write into your backstory more meaning to that, which will then feed into later stories.
Yeah, I mean, there's various degrees of subtlety you can do with that. I mean, in the same game, we had our friend Glenn is playing a halfling from a clan called the von Strudelbergs, who, yeah, named after the strudel, who, and at one point he just happened to say, he was like, not in a way of like, oh, I'm not getting involved in the game, but it was just like, oh, my character doesn't really have like much of an investment in this town other than what's been established in the game. So later on, we had a group of like thieves, like a thieves guild, who he's friends with. They were like, oh, we're in a bit of a situation. The general, who's like the military leader of the town, he's like turning the town upside down because his silver signet ring, who he'd given to a noble to go and get repaired, has been stolen. And he's turning it upside down, and he's bringing in all the criminals, the soldiers, jackbooted soldiers out on the streets, grabbing older people and shaking them down. It's martial law. And they were like, oh, actually, yeah, we know who stole it, because it was one of our like new young thieves. And he didn't know what he was stealing, or he'd have left it alone. He just saw a noble and thought, oh, I'm having that. And then I just revealed it was like a member of the same halfling clan that Glenn's character belongs to. And it was just like, I said to him, I said, do you know this guy? And he was like, oh, let's let a dice roll determine it. I was like, absolutely fine. It turned out he didn't really know him well. It's like a third cousin twice removed or something. But he was like, oh, he's just like a young lad. And he's like, from my clan. Like, I've got after the game session, he was like, I can't believe it. I've now got a reason I need to look after this town. And I was like, well, yeah. As the GM, if the players are sort of asking for motivation, or they're asking for a motive to do something, it's in my best interest as a GM to try and provide that. And all right, that example was a bit of a sort of sledgehammer approach, whereas the other one was a bit more subtle. But, you know, sometimes you can, if the player characters are asking you for something, you know, you just give it to them in the way you think will work best in that particular situation. And that's then motivated his character to have more of a stake in the actual sort of town, which is the base of operations. So that's it from me and Hannah for this RPGaDay 2025 episode.
Bye.
Hopefully you'll join us in the next one. And until we see you again, take care, stay safe, and whenever you're playing, have fun.
So I can't help notice when we were recording that one, love, that you mentioned Jacob by name. You mentioned a couple of the other NPCs by name, but you carefully didn't mention Jacob's dad's name. Was it something smutty?
No, not at all.